It's your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you here today. Dissociation and the narcissist. This is an experience that's very common among people who have been involved with a narcissist or a psychopath. The sense of dissociation that they feel with them, there's a real lack of emotional connection with them. And this creates so much of the lack of self-esteem and self-confidence that occurs after the exposure. And I always say, exposing them, you see the truth now, and the truth will set you free. However, a lot of people tend to go over the relationship again and again in their mind again and again because they're trying to process and they're trying to make sense of what had happened on a logical basis. You can't use logic in this situation. You have to understand on an emotional, intelligent level, not a, linguistic or logical level. You do need to get some sort of, logical bearing, but in order to move through, it's going to be a shift of your emotional energy that takes place. And, a little bit of logic, a little bit of tools, but it's more the emotional change of energy that's really going to help you separate it and move forward for them. And I think very key to being able to do that, actually being able to possess the ability, which after you've been victimized and targeted, a lot of people, they don't have the tools, they don't have the ability to move forward. They don't have that in their toolbox. They don't know, they don't have the lever yet. They're not able to switch the abuse off and then their own peace, their own love and light back on. And it does take a little bit of logic, but it takes a little bit of emotional trust to really get there and make that change. And it's my goal, absolutely goal and commitment to help you work through that here in this channel. And so the dissociation is when they tend to, it's coming from a whole nother set of reality where this person is so solely stuck on themselves and their needs that they're able to kind of like plow right by you without really kind of acknowledging you or mirroring you as a person. And it's done in a typical manner, such as like compliments, other sort of greetings where they might acknowledge you, certain things that they might engage in, which is, a quote-unquote engagement, but they're really lacking, and I'm trying to put my finger on it here, a sense of, it's a mirroring or a validation of yourself as a human, because they don't possess that themselves. So it's almost like two species. So if you've ever been with them, you're gonna feel this physical, palpable, emotional wall once you really get involved in it. And again, if you get it, if you experience this, please just write in the comments section, I get it, and we'll all know what we mean here. But because this is really key to understanding this, and this will help you really be able to identify that, this person is really coming from a different place. They have a whole different mindset. And that is one of complete self-absorption. So completely absorbed there that they're not mirroring you, they're not validating you, they're not able to, it's an emotional, subliminal, almost subconscious that they don't possess. And so that it's just, when you have it, just this gut feeling that there's just something not right here, but the reward is outweighing the bad, because we're having fabulous sex, or we're laughing, or we're going out, or this guy takes me to dinner, or I'm able to cook for him and I'm able to shop for him, or whatever it is you've been personally engaged in. He's a great dance partner. We engage in all this hazardous, risky stuff together, and it's like a sense of adventure. Well, you're going to be the one paying the price in the aftermath. So you got to get, an understanding that, you're the one who's going to be paying the price, not them, because they're not going to have to suffer through lack of relationship, because they're just going to pick up and they're just going to, go through people like the flavor of the week. So the, that void that is then created, it's almost like a hole that's in their soul that does not have, they're so based out of fear, and they're so self-absorbed that they are not able to, they don't have the emotional awareness to be able to validate just in a general, even a physical, biological manner. They're not able to reflect that back to you. So that's when, and that's where the fear base comes in, and then they start to try to control you and overpower you by fear, which means that they're trying to play on your insecurities. Which one key tool, if you can take something from this channel, is to realize when someone is playing on your insecurities and trying to expound those, develop those, which are really not part of you. In other words, you're a good, loving, kind person. You want a genuine relationship. You see solutions and things. You're working for the greater good. They're not doing that. They're increasing their pile only. Okay, their pile, which is up here. This is their supply. And then when you're like part of that supply, and you have any sort of needs, they take that as a threat and freak out and go into narcissistic rage. When you try to have a voice, they freak out and go into narcissistic rage. They insult, they criticize, they judge. They tell you, they might even tell you that you're evil or something of that nature, where they're trying to throw you off base. This again is them coming from that insatiable need for them to, be continual, feeding their supply. They need to be surrounded by this 24/7. So think of it almost like a rock star who has like adoring fans. I mean, like, they want to be constantly reminded of their rock star status. I mean, that's kind of what a narcissist or a psychopath is like. They constantly need to have this, sort of reflection. They can't relate to you as an even human being. So if you're feeling that void, I think this is a good indicator for you that you're dealing with this type of person. If you're like looking for proof, if you're looking for that validation, I mean, this is a good sign. It's something that you can truly feel. So I hope you're able to tap into that knowledge within yourself and arrive at a sense of like, aha, yes, you are absolutely right. It's time for me to pick up and go. It's time for me to pick up and move on with my life, because now I get it now. This person is not reflecting me back to me. And I had a very interesting epiphany or an insight that it takes one to know one. Have you heard that saying? Takes one to know one? Well, if you really feel like you've never been able to get to know this person, the narcissist or the psychopath, like there's this huge void, there's this huge gap. There it is, guys. There it is. It takes one to know one. That's why you can never ever really get to know these people. You can never really have a relationship, because you're not, in that personality disordered mindset. You're not in that psychopathic mindset. You're not in that narcissistic mindset. And it's been said, Thomas Sheridan, who wrote a wonderful book. I've only seen a couple of his videos. I want to get his book called The Labyrinth of the Psychopath. But he talks about, some of his interviews with the psychopath. Are you in my video? You're so cool. He talks about in his video on Wall Street, how, in the big banks of Wall Street, working in the stock market, he was working as a graphic designer there. But he was saying basically that the psychopaths all know each other. Like, they all almost have like these little radar where they're able to identify, who the other psychopaths are. So what I'm trying to say and explain to you is that these people, they know kind of, they can suss it out. It's something they feel and sense. It's a palpable sort of thing. It's a very palpable type of personality. They're very distinct from your normal, typical, everyday person. I mean, of intelligence, emotional intelligence, processing. And that's why they truly call, a psychopath an interspecies predator. And, narcissists are like on that scale, but they're just like down like a little octane, down a couple degrees from that. So you really, you need to understand what you're dealing with, so you can understand, why it's good to let go, and like why it's good never to get like enmeshed with these people, and like why it's good to have a strong self-concept, and why it's good to move on with your life. If you need a reason, you're feeling like you can't find your life purpose, it's time to bond with you and thank God for you that you're still standing and that you've been able to shake this person off. Or if you haven't shaken them off, I hope you're in the process of it. It's going to be a process. It's going to come little by little, but every day, in every way, you're going to be getting stronger and stronger. So hang in there, keep the faith, keep the focus, work your recovery, and use those tools. Peace and harmony here with you here today. Please share and subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussion. Love you.